and hello to everybody on the Speedcast. First of all, I don't like to start these with an apology, but I will apologise. I have been struck down with a bit of a cold, so if I cough or suddenly drop into mute or anything like that, the reason will be because of the cold. But we'll try and crack on because it's only for half an hour. So let's go. So in this session, as John has explained, we're going to look at the product called CA iDash. And today I'm basically going to concentrate on talking about CA iDash within the context of AutoSys. However, as the poll indicated earlier, and as you may already know, iDash is already integrated with both AutoSys and CA7. And in the near future, we do also expect the product to be developed further so that it integrates with D series, CAD series, and also ESP on the mainframe. So it's CA's product of choice for the functionality that it offers. As a product, okay, iDash has been available for quite a number of years as an add-on product just for AutoSys, but since it was acquired and became a CA product a few years ago, it's really benefited from a great deal of investment and development and improvement. And I hope to be able to show you some of that today. But first of all, let's just have a little bit of background and just discuss why do we need a product like iDash, what's it for, and how does it benefit us if we're involved in using workload automation tools. And probably more importantly is how does it benefit the business that we're working for? How does it help our company? So we're obviously working for Extra Technology, and before that, I've seen a lot of workload automation installations in different countries, and I would suggest that the great majority of these are mature installs, have been around for a while, in place for a number of years, and they have quite a lot of processes and procedures and tools in place that help to make the workload automation environment or the AutoSys installation more useful to the business. Okay, so this means that things have been put in place that can typically capture problems, capture what we would call an AutoSys alarm or a job failure or whatever you want to call it, capture those things happening and some details about them, and probably take that information and push that information out somewhere externally. That could be through a number of ways, like email, or automatically cutting tickets in a ticketing system like ServiceNow or CA Help Desk or Remedy or whatever it is. A lot of installations, the majority of installations, will also make use of other features in products like AutoSys to generate extra alerting around occasions when a job runs for too long, okay, or if it hasn't started by a particular deadline, or it hasn't completed by a particular deadline. So as lots of these installations, these workload installations are mature, these are the kinds of tools, processes, and features that are in use typically today. In addition to that, many customers need to be able to produce reports for their organization. Typical AutoSys reporting requirements would be something like how many jobs ran overnight, or how many jobs failed within a 24-hour period, how many jobs ran for too long, or other reports such as the latency of AutoSys itself, or reports showing audit activity. Okay, so who's taken more actions against jobs, who's made changes, and this kind of thing. And historically, the way that people meet these reporting requirements has been a combination, really. It could be manual effort, it could be writing scripts or programs to pull this information out from log files, or to even directly interrogate all the AutoSys databases themselves and pull that information out. So those are the kind of things that we see, pretty much typical extra work that's been put in on a workload automation installation to provide monitoring, alerting, and also reporting, okay? Which is fine. These things are great as far as they go, but they do have limitations, and these are limitations that the iDash product would try and meet. So in the case of Autosys then, let's take that as an example. The built-in features that the product has for alerting against the progress of your workflows or your jobs will only generate an alert when you've already got the problem. Okay, so if you use something that says, send me an alert when this job has run for more than 10 minutes, or send me an alert when this job is not completed by 6 o'clock, you would only get the alert when you reach that time. Okay, and of course, unfortunately, if these are critical jobs, you're too late. You've already got the problem. And in a lot of cases, these issues will have a knock-on effect on the ability of your business to actually operate effectively. Okay, so this kind of deadline processing, this kind of alerting, and this kind of features that Autosys already has, as I said, will only give you an alert when you've got the problem. Okay, and the limitation, as we were talking about a minute ago about reporting, is that this typically takes a lot of manual effort to generate reports, typically takes a bunch of custom code, lots of scripts or database queries to produce the reports that the business requires. So with the iDash product, there are two key pieces of functionality that it gives to you that address these limitations. Okay, the first one, which we'll talk about, is SLAs. Okay, so what is an SLA? We've already had a little poll and seen that people do have SLAs that they have to meet within their environments or within their departments or their companies. In iDash terms, then, an SLA is a deadline. Okay, so within iDash, you would define SLAs, and an SLA is typically a deadline by which a job must start, or a deadline by which a job must complete. Okay, so iDash SLAs, when defined and configured within the tool, are able to address the issue of forecasting and predicting when you're going to have a problem. Okay, so an iDash SLA, because the iDash product, when connected to Autosys and CA7 as well, it actually has the ability to constantly monitor your environment and the progress of your workflows, okay, and to predict in advance if you're going to miss a deadline. Okay, so the important point here is that this iDash product will predict issues in advance and alert you. It can be configured to send out alerts to you or to wherever they need to go before you have a problem. Okay, so unlike Autosys itself, which will only give you an alert when you've got the problem, iDash is able to predict you're going to have a problem and issue an alert to you in advance. So this typically would give you the ability to take actions in advance, okay, so to fix problems, hopefully, and get things back on track with your processing before you miss a critical deadline. Very important, advanced alerting. And because iDash is constantly monitoring your environment, and is also, it's an offline repository of all your historical information, so it's a combination of real-time monitoring and historical data, iDash is able to use its advanced analytics logic to predict stuff intelligently, okay? So it's also able to predict that, to cater for scenarios, for example, where a single job stream runs for 3 hours Monday to Thursday, but if it's a Friday, it runs longer, okay? So it's able to cater for these different able to cater intelligently, excuse me, for these different scenarios, because not every day is the same in your environment. Okay, so because it's real-time monitoring and because it's an offline repository of all your history, it's able to combine that information and use intelligent prediction on your workflows. Okay, and iDash as well, because it's this offline repository of all your historical information, that means, of course, that you're also able to quite simply define and produce reports. Okay, so the way that iDash works behind the scenes is it's constantly collecting historical information from Autosys and using it to populate its own repository of information. And then you are able to define and execute and create reports in the iDash tool using either the historical information or real-time information or both, and produce a bunch of different reports very, very easily. Okay, and it's very simple to produce reports with iDash, and reports, as we'll see, reports are available in different formats. So you can generate reports in HTML format, or you can stuck the data out into comma-separated files and import them into some other reporting tool if you like. And there are even some pre-canned PDFs that come out of iDash. And the good thing about doing this reporting with iDash as well is that iDash does offer a very well-featured command line interface, which means it's very simple to create scripts and hence autosys jobs that can be run and generate your reports in an automated fashion. So it's quite straightforward, and we'll have a look at this. It's quite straightforward to create an autosys job that will generate a report of all the job executions for the previous 24 hours into a format of your choice. Okay. So the two key areas of iDash: SLAs and prediction, and reporting. So what we're going to do now is we are going to actually stop this screen share and jump into the iDash demo environment. So you just give me a moment and I will do that. Let's just get this sorted out. Shan't be a moment. Here we go. Okay. So hopefully now you can see in front of you the iDash interface. First thing you'll probably notice, of course, is that it's rich and it's colorful, and it actually runs in a web browser. Okay, so unlike other interfaces, unlike previous versions of the iDash product itself, this is browser-based. What does that mean? Of course, that means that it will run on your computer. It'll also work on your tablet or your boss's tablet if they like to keep track of these things while they're out and about, which is quite a normal use case. So this is, of course, a demo environment that I'm showing you here. So it has been kind of set up, kind of rigged, if you like, with SLAs and with jobs that have been designed to behave in a predictable way, simply so that we can show you the features of the product quite easily. But when you first log into iDash, of course, you'll see this view. This is the dashboard view. You'll get this chart, this kind of donut, as we like to call it, which will show you each of your SLAs that you've defined within iDash and the status of them, and in fact the count of the status of each SLA by status, I should say. Okay, and also, of course, there's a little table down the side here that will show you in tabular format what you can see in the donut. Okay, so there are within iDash, as I said, within iDash an SLA is a deadline, and there are 5 statuses that an SLA can have. Okay, 3 that are in the past, and 2 that are in the past, beg your pardon, and 3 that are in the future. So the 2 statuses for an SLA in the past are met. A met SLA is good. That means typically I had a deadline whereby this chunk of work had to finish by 6 o'clock and it met the deadline. That's good. And missed. Missed is the opposite of met. Missed is bad. Missed means you breached your deadline. Okay, that's not so good. So those are the statuses of SLAs in the past. And then the future ones, future SLA statuses that are being forecast are on time. Okay, SLA on time. I have 3 SLAs defined that are on time. What does that mean? That means I've got 3 SLAs, 3 deadlines defined, and iDash predicting that I'm going to meet those deadlines. Great. Okay, I have 1 in red, which is a predicted miss. Okay, this means I have a deadline defined for a job, and iDash is predicting that I'm not going to meet my deadline. Oh dear. And if you just hover across to the right here, you will also see in the alert section of the interface that I have a matching alert, okay, that's come from the predicted miss SLA. So iDash has decided I'm going to miss my deadline and generated an alert. Briefly then, if I expand this alert in here, there's lots and lots of useful information about this alert that I've received. Okay, so within my SLA here, this is telling me a lot of stuff. This is telling me the name of the job that's involved, what its deadline is, okay, and the alert details at the bottom here telling me what my deadline is, and then when iDash is forecasting that the job is actually going to complete. I'll show you this in more detail in a moment, okay, but this is the predicted miss alert. So I have a predicted miss SLA, and I also have an at-risk SLA. Okay, at risk is one of the things I really like about iDash. So at risk means I've defined a deadline, but it also means I'm going to meet my deadline, but I'm getting close. I'm getting close to my deadline. So this is a very useful feature. This is the way that I would describe the use case for this one is to have SLAs defined against critical jobs and have them set so that they will generate an at-risk warning if I'm going to get within, 10 minutes, 15 minutes of my deadline. So under normal circumstances, I would never see an at-risk warning. However, if job execution times for this job start to creep up over time, which is very common, volumes of data pushed through the system can increase and executions of workloads can take longer and longer. Suddenly, at some point in the future, when my durations start to hit a little bit longer than I'd like, that I'm comfortable with, iDash will start predicting that I'm going to meet my deadlines, but I'm getting close. Okay, so that's a very quick look at the dashboard. Of course, all of these are clickable. So what I'm able to do is click into, for example, this predicted miss SLA here, or this on time SLA here, and jump into a list of my SLAs. Okay, so if you notice, I've now gone across to the Explorer SLA list, and all I'm really doing now is showing you a filtered view of all the SLAs in my list that are on time. Okay, let's have a look at one of these SLAs. An SLA can have any name you like. Any name you like, doesn't have to match the job. But let's pull out this particular SLA here, for example. And I'll get a nice little summary at the top here, including a real-time status of the SLA. So I have a deadline on this job of 21:15, and iDash is predicting that my job is going to complete at 21:04. Okay, so I have what's called slack time. I'm 11 minutes to the good. So within an SLA, what I can show you previous runs of the SLA, and within this SLA itself, I've also got a flow view of the jobs. So this is the SLA job here, this one with a black circle around it, and you can actually see the set of jobs to which it belongs in AutoSys. So this is a real-time view of the AutoSys jobs. Okay, and the flow view is quite cool. It's quite flexible, so you can flip it this way around and zoom in and out, and the kind of stuff you'd expect. So that's a simple SLA chain, simple set of 4 jobs in a box. I hope that's straightforward. Let's have a look at a slightly more involved SLA. Looks similar, however, this particular view, of course, this isn't the whole view of the box. This is only the critical path. If I expand this to include all jobs, then the flow view will show me all of the jobs in that box. But if I prefer to distill down just the critical path, it'll show me just the critical path to my SLA. Okay, so the flow view is very flexible. There is, of course, a time view, which is like a Gantt chart, which you can kind of customize to show it how you want it, drag it in and out. And this is a kind of a top-down Gantt chart view of the box with some nifty little tooltips that will show you the order in which the jobs will run and so on. Okay, so within the SLA list, I can pull out a lot of information. Okay, let's have a look at this one again. I can also jump immediately to the SLA definition if I wish, or I can jump straight to the job, the actual Autosys job that belongs to this SLA. And again, there's lots and lots of information available in here. I can look at lots of historical executions of the job within iDash, because remember, iDash is collecting all this information for me, which is very useful. I can see which SLAs the job belongs to, and I can see also, if I wish, I can have a look at the job definition itself directly from Autosys, or I can even look at the computed average runtimes for this job within Autosys. Not a very exciting example, I'm afraid, because this job only runs for 1 minute the whole time. So hopefully you just get a brief overview of the idea of the fact that there are many useful features within the product. There's a flow view, there's roll-up dashboard, there's ways to jump in and out of the product and find job information. Very, very, very straightforward. So all I'm going to do quickly now, okay, is jump into this SLA here. If you remember, this is the one that has 4 jobs in a row. Now, clearly, if my SLA is defined against the 4th job, let's try and make this trip an alert out. What we should do here then, what would you expect to happen if by accident somebody placed one of these predecessor jobs, job 1, 2, or 3, on hold? Well, the first thing that would happen is the job that's on hold would never run, and the next thing that would happen, of course, is that the SLA would be breached. So if I pop across to WCC quickly, then I will show you briefly, once it's logged in, what happens. So let's just zoom that in, because it's helpfully logged me out while I've been talking. Let's accidentally place this job on hold and wait for WCC to do its magic and send the event back to Autosys. We can see already, okay, that within this chain, this job has been placed on hold, which in Autosys terms means none of this is going to run, basically, okay? And because my SLA is defined on job 4, that means I'm never going to meet my SLA. So if I pop across back to iDash, already you can see within this view of this SLA that the status has changed. iDash is already saying now, oh dear, you're going to miss it. And within the flow view, it's showing me that this job here is on hold. Okay, so straight away I've got a view telling me what the problem is. And over here, of course, I've got the alert, the accompanying alert. You will notice that this total has gone from 1 to 2. And I have an accompanying alert telling me that there's a problem. Now, if within your Autosys environment, you're accustomed to Autosys alarms and having those pushed out, trapped, sent somewhere, okay, iDash alarms take exactly the same route. Okay, important point. So if you're used to getting alerts sent by email, iDash alarms will come through the same mechanism. Okay, so I'll just take this back off hold very quickly to fix the problem. Because I've been notified there's a problem, I can jump in, take the problem, take remedial action to resolve the issue. And once iDash catches up with the fact that I've made that change, the alert will disappear. In fact, it's probably already gone on here. There it is. Your SLA is now back to on time. Hooray! And my alert that I generated, I set that up to automatically close. Hope that's not too much of a rush. I realize time is running away with us. I will show you the reporting as well and how easy it is to generate a report. Let's quickly create a job run report. Okay, let's suppose I wanted to create some reports. I'll give this report a name and I'll include all the jobs in the instance, and I only want jobs that hit success, okay, within the past 2 days. That's really all I need to do, okay? I create my report definition, it's saved. And then if I want to manually generate a report, I can simply click on download and choose the format of the report I want. Let me choose that one. Hopefully you can see this isn't too quick. Here's my job run report I've generated. That's how easy it is to generate a job run report, to define and generate a report. Okay, there are a bunch of reports available. So there are event reports, there are SLA reports, there are auto track reports that will show you who's done what on the system. And as promised, I did say earlier, it's very easy to create some jobs that will execute reports for you using the iDash command line. There are 4 reports here that I've created. So there's a job run report, an audit report, a latency report shows me how AutoSys is performing, and a report showing me all the alarms I have in the system. So if I quickly select those, start those 4 jobs there, then we should find that they will run in a jiffy, and they have, and create 4 reports here. So here's a weekly audit report showing me all the send events that people have done, well, I've done, of course, on the system. In addition, if you'd like to see things like AutoSys latency statistics, those can be easily captured and perhaps pushed forward to a reporting tool. On one of the canned PDFs, as I mentioned, show me all the alarms I've got and the status of them. So a very quick canter through iDash, very, very fast talking by me, but hopefully give you a good idea of some of the capabilities of the product. There are more, of course, so if you'd like to know more, let us know.